Hello and welcome to episode 2 of List Management Monday, brought to you on a special edition Friday. Today we will be speaking about the Hawthorn Football Club and the Sydney Swans Football Club and the direction that they may take in 2021 and beyond post-COVID. We'll also be touching on briefly the Academy Zone system for both Adelaide Football Club and the North Melbourne Football Club, as well as today's clubs Hawthorn and Sydney. So I'll show you a map of where their academy zones are. I'll also like to introduce Greg Truman, who's going to be joining us today in the discussion of both directions of the two clubs. Greg Truman, I have worked with for the past 7 years in the Oakleigh Chargers Central Metro region for AFL Victoria. Greg comes in with a lot of experience within the pathway system, and under both Greg and my watch in the Oakleigh Chargers region, we have seen just under 40 players drafted over the past 6 years. So he will be joining us when we begin. And let's begin. So as you can see, this map of Australia designates different zones for all the AFL clubs for their next generation academies. So if we scroll in and we speak about Adelaide first up, we can see that Adelaide Football Club have the densely populated areas around the city and the eastern side of South Australia, down below there, and then obviously around this area here. And they also have the northwestern side of the state, next to Port Adelaide, obviously. The Adelaide Football Club and the Port Adelaide Football Club obviously don't have any of this unassigned area. It's the largest unassigned area in the country for academy zones due to the low density of population because of the outback. If we scroll down a little bit to the Tasmanian mainland, you'll see that the North Melbourne Football Club pretty much run the whole entire next generation academy of Tasmania, and they also occupy both Flinders Island and King Island. North Melbourne Football Club also own a little bit of an academy zone in the western side of the metro region of Victoria. As you can see, next to the Western Bulldogs, and just before Geelong, they own this little area here for their academy zone. If we scroll to the right side of the screen, you can see that the Hawthorn Football Club, they run the metro region's Box Hill area, so the Whitehorse area, all the way through to the eastern side of the state through the Gippsland area. So that is the Hawthorn Football Club's zone, which they occupy a large chunk. A little story behind the Hawthorn Football Club occupying the Box Hill region. When the academy zones were first assigned to AFL clubs, the Collingwood Football Club didn't actually have the Collingwood suburb under their metro region. That actually was owned by the Carlton Football Club in the northern region. And in an agreement with the AFL, Collingwood gave up Box Hill in order to swallow up Collingwood inside the central metro region, and Hawthorn was able to gain a little bit of the central metro region. So as we can see, we'll just scroll down a little bit. They also occupy, obviously, Phillip Island and a lot of the coast. So the entire Gippsland area is for Hawthorn. If we move up a little bit into New South Wales, you can see that Sydney Swans occupy their academy zone for the densely populated area around the capital city and northeastern side of the state. You can see GWS pretty much operate the entire central coast of New South Wales, as well as the Riverina as well. So Sydney Swans have a small area, but it's the highly populated area of New South Wales. We'll now move on to the two clubs, and I'll also welcome Greg Truman's input. So first up, we're going to start with the Hawthorn Football Club. Currently, they are 16th on the AFL ladder. Their list size in 2020 is 47, which includes obviously 7 rookies and 2 Category B. Their list average age is 24.8, which is the third oldest AFL list in 2020, and their average games is 76.0, which is the third most experienced AFL list in the AFL. Looking at their age profile in 2020, so their oldest players on their list obviously are Sean Burgoyne at 37 years of age, Paul Puopolo, Ricky Henderson, Ben Stratton, Isaac Smith, James Frawley, Ben McAvoy, rounding out that plus 30, which they all are around that 31, 32 age bracket. We look at the youngsters, 18 to 22. They've got 22 on the list. However, there is not many game experience in that list at the moment. In that peak age from 23 to 27, they have 12 on that list. For their experienced players from 28 to 30 years of age, they have 6. And obviously, as we've just discussed, 30 plus, they have 7 on the list. Moving on, so as we see their Hawthorn list, I believe they don't have any A-grade talent at the moment. They have a lot of Moneyball role players. Jack Gunston at 29 years of age is probably one of their best players on their list, as is Brownlow medalist Tom Mitchell at 26 years of age. Obviously got another 6 to 7 years left in his AFL career. However, he's not the same player after that broken leg. The player I think they need to start building the list around is James Sicily at 25 years of age. I still feel that he might be their next captain of their club, but they need to start building their backline around that genuine talent. Their emerging talent is Jarman Impey at 24 years of age, a really good trade in previous years. He'll hit his peak around that 26, 27 years of age and play more inside midfield time, but he has that explosiveness to also play on the outside. Blake Hardwick at 23 years of age has been getting games under the current regime, current system. He will play a very important role going forward at 23 years of age as a key defender. James Warple at 20 years of age won the 2019 Best and Fairest. He's going to be a genuine A-grade talent and probably their A-grade talent when he hits the age of 24, 25. And as we saw, Will Day was a very, very good draft pick for the Hawthorn Football Club end of last season and has already played 8 games at a very elite level. The Hawthorn Football Club untouchables in the trade period this year. As I said, the 3 main ones would be James Sicily, Jarman Impey, and James Warple, who are the closest to becoming A-grade talent. In my opinion, the needs for the Hawthorn Football Club going forward are that they lack that genuine A-grade talent, so they need to build around that area or help their future A-grade talent. They have limited stocks in their key position player depth. So they're going to have to look at the draft, in my opinion, or if they don't look in the draft, they need to replace some of their injury-prone stars or their older key position talent. They also lack outside run and efficiency by foot, which they were known for about 4 or 5 years ago. They were the most efficient by foot in the AFL. However, at the moment, they lack that efficiency around the ground, which has stopped their run and carry on the outside. 21 and beyond, the Hawthorn Football Club, in my mind, they're going to have a bit of a discussion at year's end The football department, I believe, wants to go to the draft. However, as we've seen in the media most recently, Alistair Clarkson does not trust the draft and academy system. So he wants to go to the trade period and free agency again because he believes he still has a chance in the premiership window. So I believe that they will continue to look for mid-range depth in talent. So they'll start trading in that, or they'll look at the free agency and try and get an A-grade talent in. So I'll open it up to discussion with Greg at the moment to give our 2 cents.
Yeah, so I think with Hawthorn, where they're really lacking is that superstar talent that you look at other clubs, say like West Coast, or you look at Geelong, they've got these A-graders that really push them through games. Hawthorn at the moment really lack that, and in their younger talent coming through from 18 to 22, I really find it hard to find more than 1 or 2 that could develop to that. At the moment, if they continue at where they are on the ladder, they're in 4th position, considering that Ugle-Hagan will probably go first, will be bidded on. So with pick 4, there's some great options there. I personally think they can get a half-decent midfielder in trade period, but they really need to work on their key position depth, both forward and also back.
Yep, so we'll now move on to Sydney.
Ta-da, Sydney.
So the Sydney Swans currently 15th on the AFL ladder. Their list size in 2020 is at 45, so they've got a current list of 37, 6 rookies and 2 Category B. Their list average size is 23.6, which is the 16th oldest list in the AFL, so that means they're on the younger demographic in 2020, and their average games is 55.6, which is the 15th most experienced list in the AFL in 2020. If we look at their age profile, they have 2 players over the age of 30, so 2 veterans, Josh Kennedy at 31 years of age and Lance Franklin at 33. They have 22 players between the age of 18 to 22, which most of them have been blooded for game experience over the past 2 seasons. In the peak age of 23 to 27, they have 17 players. So that's a very good depth amongst the peak age. Their experience age demographic, 28 to 30, they have 4, which includes the likes of Luke Parker. So if we look at Sydney Swans in 2020, I believe they have 3 A-graders. Lance Franklin at 33 years of age could still turn a game on his own. So he's still classified as that A-grade talent. Josh Kennedy at 31 years of age has been around for quite some time. But again, he's an A-grade elite talent that can turn a game if he plays and makes about 30 possessions per game. And Tom Papley is an A-grade small forward talent. Not every day you'll see a player at 22 years of age demand 2 first-round draft picks at the trade period by another club. Unfortunately, it didn't go through for Carlton Football Club last year, but Tom Papley demands 2 first-round draft picks, then he is a genuine A-grade talent and has been able to turn games for Sydney Swans throughout the previous 2 seasons. The untouchables in 2020, I believe, are going to be Luke Parker, Isaac Heaney and Nick Blakey. 3 different age demographics, Luke Parker being 27, Isaac Heaney being 23 years of age and Nick Blakey at 20. With their emerging talent, which is a very good emerging talent amongst the AFL. They've drafted and developed their players very, very well throughout their system. Callum Mills is only 23 years of age still. He will start to get more midfield time. Oliver Florent has a bit of an X factor on the outside and is very efficient by foot. Will Hayward and Nick Blakey have been playing some of the key position roles, but also can play on the outside. And Tom McCartan has shown that he can develop both as a key position forward and key position defender. And we've also got James Rowbottom, who is his second year of AFL football. He was brought in and drafted as a replacement for Dan Hanbury and has slotted straight into that midfield. Sydney Swans' needs for 2021 and beyond, I believe, is key position depth. They will have to start looking for that Lance Franklin replacement and/or that Sam Reid replacement as well. If they do indeed lose Tom Papley at the end of the year, they will have to look for that small, crafty forward, whether they go to free agency or the trade period, or they look for that future small, crafty forward in the draft. Who knows? But they will start looking for that mature age 24 to 28, because as we've seen over in the past, it's harder for Sydney Swans to retain their players, but the players they bring in obviously always fill a role. 2021 and beyond, they'll continue to draft key position depth, in my opinion, but they will still look for that best available talent, and they will trade in at free agency mature age bodies to fulfill those roles throughout the list, to allow their younger stars and emerging talent to develop further and gain game experience. Thoughts, Greg?
My thoughts are with the Swans is that they have done an amazing job in getting recycled players that come in and fill a role straight away. You look at Ryan, Clark and Lewis that have come in the last few years. They've really straight away slotted into their system, and it's been a smooth transition. Now, with their emerging talent, they seem to have these mature age players that are there for that time period. And then all of a sudden, when the emerging talent starts to push them out, well, they're gone. And I think it's a very smart system that Sydney run. I think they've been really, really lucky with their academy picks, and who knows what's going to happen with that in the future with the AFL now. It looks like they're going to overtake that program. So I think Sydney are in a great position. They do definitely need to find replacements for Franklin and Reid. And if Papley goes, I think they'll probably look to Josh Thomas from Collingwood if they can get him as a free agent, as he fits that same similar role. Yes, he doesn't kick as many goals, especially this year. The previous years he has. So I think the Swans, all in all, they're in a good position to push forward. And as you see with their age depth compared to Hawthorn, they've got a whole bunch of that key age group ready to push through. So I see some very exciting times for the Swans fans.
Yep, thanks for that, Greg. So again, if anyone wants to comment or discuss, please do so below. As I stated earlier in the video, the Academy Zone link will be put below as well. So if you have any questions about the Academy Zone, both Greg and I, with our experience throughout the AFL pathway system, we can answer a few questions either for the upcoming draft talent, which will be covered in an upcoming and future video as well. So thanks for listening, and we will see you for List Management Monday.
Cool. Thanks, guys.